When I was invited to come here, I didn't doubt in accepting. We have a very strong partnership between the Embassy of Honduras and the ICD, not only with the embassy, but rather with the government of Honduras. When I say the government of Honduras, it doesn't matter which political party is in power. We have a very strict vision of a strategic alliance with the ICD. When they asked me to come here today, I was wondering what I was going to talk to you about. I could have spoken to you about, conflict resolution. I could have spoken to you about bridges in between the alliance between Latin America and the Caribbean and Germany. Very important today. Or I could speak to you about the bridges of music and the cultural diplomacy. But I just decided that I was going to tackle with you a little bit about the bridges of the alliance that we have between Latin America and the Caribbean and the Germans. What is it all about? Right now, Latin America and the Caribbean, we have one of the biggest reserves of water. We can be one of the biggest producers of food in the world. We are a stable region with non-armed conflicts. We do have our issues when it comes to some countries right now because there are some political situations, but there's no bloodshed. We're building the confidence of the region, such as the confidence that you have in the stock market. Whenever you have a company and they're selling stock, you're going to buy the stock that gives you confidence. The one that it doesn't give you confidence, you won't buy. Therefore, the country that doesn't give you confidence, that's a country that you're not going to go to. That's the reality of today's world. We see a very difficult world today between the US and Russia. We see very difficult situations coming about in different parts of the world. But then again, the other day, a minister of Germany was saying in a conference with all the ambassadors of Latin America and the Caribbean that we should be worried about Trump. And I go to him, excuse me, can you repeat that again? Yes, you guys should be worried about Trump. And I'm like, I think you have it wrong, sir. I am here because we are talking about the alliance between Germany, Europe, and the Latin American region with the Caribbean. Because we offer opportunities. What does Trump has to do with anything in between the relationship between Latin America and the Caribbean and Germany? I think that they had it all wrong. And Germany, in my view, in the view of many in Latin America and the Caribbean, are taking a role of a sort of like the balance as to what's going on in the world. They are becoming a leader for the balance as to what's going on right now. Those are issues that are none of our concern, on the immediate concern. What concerns us right now is to strengthen the bond in the commercial, political, cooperation side and social side of the relationship between our region, our country, my country, and Germany and the European Union. Honduras is part of a region called Central America. That includes Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama. Did you know that we're the only region in the whole wide world that has an association agreement between region to region with Europe? In order to be a member state of the European Union, you must have an association agreement. It's not in Africa. It's not in Asia. It's not in Eastern Europe. Well, actually, Eastern Europe, yeah, Eastern Europe, yes, yeah. But we're talking about little, like Georgia, they're trying to be part of the European Union, but Georgia is still working on the association agreement, but they don't have it yet. Turkey, they don't have it yet. They have a different type of agreement with Europe. The point is, there's no other region-to-region association agreement between the European Union and another region in the world. Only we have it. We are an example as to what the European Union is in another part of the world, across the Atlantic. It's Honduras and Central America. And the point of all this is to land on my conclusion that we are building bridges with Europe. We, Honduras, are only a country with 9 million people. We're too small. But when we take Honduras as a whole, as a part of our region, we're 55 million people. Then it is an attractive region. We are an attractive country because we're part of our region. Now, about bridges. We have free trade agreements with other part of the world. And so what it means is that if you're part of Europe, and we already have an association agreement that includes 3 pillars: political dialogue, cooperation, and commerce, that means that we can take advantage of that relationship between Europe and Central America and the Caribbean, but especially Central America. And we can, the Europeans can use that as a bridge to go into other markets, such as a free trade agreement that we have with the United States, the free trade agreement that we have with Peru, Mexico, amongst ourselves. So we are a very attractive region. Building bridges. That is what cultural diplomacy is all about. And the beautiful part of the association agreement that we have is that there is it's about a whole stack of pages like this. And when I used to be the ambassador in Brussels, I had to sign 10 copies of the agreement like that, which is about 4,000 pages. I can't even remember. It took hours for all of the ambassadors to sign it. But the point is, very interesting. There's an evolution clause that it could be good for the next 100 years. All we have to do is update. Instead of fighting to say that we're going to renegotiate a climate change agreement or we're going to renegotiate a free trade agreement, we're just going to evolutionize, modernize what we need to, and then keep it going. We're very pragmatic upon that between the Europeans and the Central Americans. There's another clause that says that we respect the foreign investment. There's another clause that says when there's a conflict, we're going to have we have a clause there that helps out for conflict resolution. So it's a very interesting agreement. And the point is, bottom line, building bridges between societies so that we can strengthen our political dialogue, cooperation, and commerce. Thank you. If there's no questions, that's good, because that means that they're tired at this time.
Well, mine's not so much on cultural diplomacy, but I've traveled a lot in Central America, and I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on the income disparity. I don't know specifically about Honduras, but what could you talk about all these trade agreements? But how is it actually coming down to the people?
Okay. We have a poverty reduction program with the European Union. Let's take a case for example, of Honduras. And for the period of 2007-2014, we received about 217 million euros in cooperation for poverty reduction programs. In spite of the fact that during those years we had a very difficult political situation, and we have had challenges to overcome when it comes to fight against drug traffickers, crime, homicides. We went from 88.6 homicides per 100,000 people. We went all the way down to 55 in between 2010 2017. So we're showing results. So when we show results, that's one of the reasons why the European Union decided to increase our cooperation from 217,000 from the period I just told you. From the period of 2014 to 2021, it incremented to 235 million euros. So we see a big increment. Now, you want statistics? I wasn't prepared for that question to give you specific answers, but I'm giving you an overall idea, a global idea as to if we're seeing increments in the poverty reduction programs, that's because we have to fight disparity in our country and our region. It's a hard job. And I'm not going to try to lie to you because I can't. My wife works for the World Bank and she handles statistics, so she's here present. So if I lie, she's going to put me on my case. She's going to be on my case. But anyways, no. The fight of disparity will never cease. We will always have to fight for that. I think it's going to take many years. I hope not that many. But not even the Catholic Church, no church in this world, no organization, not the United Nations has been able to fight that. I mean, my dream world, in my mind, would be that there is no disparity. But the reality is that there is. And what we need to do is to be conscientious about that situation and always fight it. If there wouldn't be disparity, then my wife wouldn't have a job at the World Bank. There would be no need for a World Bank. I'm sorry, did I answer your question?
Yeah,
Sort of.
yeah.
And where are you from?
I'm from Chicago, the U.S.
Oh, the U.S. Okay, good.
Hi, I'm Lulu. I'm from Zimbabwe. You spoke very much about economic policy in terms of the but how does it impact on cultural aspects of Honduras specifically in terms of raising its profile to make it durable?
Very easy. In the agreement, we have clauses of culture exchange, culture bridges. We have clauses that give strength to our ethnic groups. We have clauses for cultural cooperation. We have clauses that says that we're going to have cultural education exchanges. We have clauses that state that we can strengthen the exchange on the scientific side of cultural and academic exchange. So basically, in our country, my country, I'm going to specifically speak about Honduras. The good thing about that is that there is a lot of cultural exchange. If there wouldn't be cultural exchange, we wouldn't have the students that would be coming over to study in Europe. We wouldn't have the sisterhood, brotherhood between universities for academic and cultural exchange, as we are signing with many universities in Europe and also many universities in Honduras.
Two questions, if I may. Yeah, I don't know if the ambassador has the possibility to take them too. So I have two questions. The first one is, I just learned that you served in Brussels, if I'm not wrong. What would you think about the new cultural identity? This is my first question.
EU cultural identity.
Yes, so is there one, what do you think, what is your perception as having been one of the first families, the interlocutors, from the point of view of a third country representative? This is the first question. And then my second question is related to what do you think about cultural diplomacy? So what is your definition of cultural diplomacy? And more specifically, I wanted to know if you think that cultural diplomacy is droit régalien, so only the competence of state, so it belongs only to state, or if citizens, for example, would have a role to play and what role to play in this cultural diplomacy.
I'll start by the second. It's much easier. No, actually, I have something in mind that I want to say and since I don't want it to go away or fly away, I'm just going to start by the second. Without citizens, there is no state. Without citizens, there wouldn't be the states nor the governments. So therefore, the people are important in any cultural exchange of diplomacy. I went to give a conference in the University of Flensburg about 2 years ago. Your question reminds me of that episode that I had during my conference. I was giving a conference about conflict resolution. My specialty is being a diplomat, but at the same time being a negotiator. And one of the students, and then I was trying to relate the bridge between the political side and the social side. They go hand in hand. And guess what? I see someone who lifts a hand, a student, and the student says, I don't believe in politics. I think that politics is dirty. I think that politics is corrupt. And I think that yada, 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 yada. And I said, it is a choice here in Germany not to participate in politics. But then don't complain when other people decide for you. Don't complain. Either you get involved and you are part of the changes, or you don't. A specific case, and very general, because we're not going to resolve it here and we're not going to be able to talk about it in depth. Since there's someone from Chicago here, I'm not going to use a U.S. example. But I'm going to use, is there somebody from Great Britain here? Okay, good. That's a good example. Okay, that's a good example. So what happened in Great Britain is the young people didn't go out and vote. Bottom line. Just like that student in Flensburg. She, as well as the students in Great Britain and the young people in Great Britain, had the opportunity to make a difference with their vote. They didn't. That's the second question, my answer. But if you have follow-up questions, I would be glad to answer. With regards to the first question, okay, let me rephrase my memory. It's culture, identity in Europe? The-
European cultural identity.
The Euro. The European cultural identity. Okay. You know, I'm giving you my outsider perspective. I'm not a European. I don't pretend to be a European. And I will never be a European because I'm a full 100% boy from Honduras. I'm a cowboy from Honduras. And I will tell you that there is. Because if there wouldn't be, then you wouldn't have a European Union. What happened in Great Britain, it's something that we're going to see that the decision of the Brexit is going to be ratified or not in the upcoming election in Great Britain. But the young people and the Europeans have been shocked by the decision they made, which was revoked by what could have happened in France when now Macron is in power. So therefore, yes, I do think that you in Europe have an identity, and it's a very strong one, and it's a very clear and focused one, now more than ever before. Where are you from? Okay. 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 You know, you just said something very important. I'm sorry. You said something very important. I don't say I am proud to be Honduran. What I say, in addition to being proud of being a Honduran, I say I'm proud to be part of the Central American Integration System Union. Because we have, like you have your own European Union, we have our own Central American Union. And I'm proud to be part of that union, as you just said that you're European. I like that answer. Sorry. Besides those exchanges, you know, I left, I was the only ambassador of the region that was in the negotiations from beginning to end. I can tell you from what I lived back then, and one of the results of the cultural exchange within this agreement, and also within the agreements that we have of the CELAC, which is the Community of States of Latin America and the Caribbean and the European Union, is the EULAC Foundation, EU-LAC Foundation. And it's all about culture. And it's also part of this agreement because we're part of the overall region of Latin America and the Caribbean. That foundation is functioning out of Hamburg. Why? Because we had the choice to choose where we wanted that foundation functioning from. We could have had it in Spain, we could have had it in Italy, but no, we as a group European Union, Latin America, and the Caribbean decided to have it in Hamburg. And that's a foundation that has as an objective to strengthen the cultural ties between our regions, country by country, region to region.
I have a completely different question. Would you share with us your most
I'm afraid of you. My most what?
your most inspiring cultural experience, maybe related to music and musician?
Well, I haven't played my guitar in many years, maybe 20. And whenever I started to play my guitar again, my wife goes, "Can you go on the balcony to to practice?" Oh gosh, I have so many. I don't know where to start. You know, so many things come up to my mind. Experiences with cultural exchange, you said. I think that one of the most impressive experiences I have had has been here in Germany. I went to the south of Germany to give a diploma of recognition to an NGO that has been helping a small town in Honduras. And as a gesture of the cultural program that they have with this town, by helping them build a school, by helping them build like a little auditorium, by helping build a health center, and so on and so forth, I had a very, very good as well as bad experience. Why good? Because I got one more experience in my life as to how to deal with the situation that I had at hand. And the director of the center said that we have so many problems in Honduras with regards to crime, to drug trafficking, and so on and so forth. And I was there to say thank you, but rather I was being attacked. And I'm like, oh my God. My wife was there. My deputy chief of mission at the Embassy of Honduras was there. Some very good friends were there. And I was like, I don't have a choice. I have to answer in the best way I can. And I said, you know, sir, I come from a family. My father founded the movement of human rights in Honduras and in Central America. My sister was assassinated. And as you were asking about poverty reduction, we are still trying to fight and to strengthen the programs for poverty reduction. And I cannot lose faith in the legal system in Honduras in order to resolve the case of my sister, even though it's been 20 years. But I cannot take revenge into my own hands. I have to have faith in the system. And if I don't have faith in the system, it's like that student in Flensburg that doesn't have faith in anything and it doesn't want to be part of a change. And then I said, and your foundation, organization, is part of a certain church. And I said, not even that church in the thousands of years of existence has been able to resolve the problems of the world, neither culturally, politically, or economically. But I'm willing as a member of the government of Honduras, and I said the state, because I represent the government, but also the state of Honduras, which is every single citizen of the country. And I said, I'm giving you my hand right now so that instead of arguing, we hold on to our hands and we push forward together to fight against everything that we need to fight to strengthen the cultural ties between our nations. The head of the church stood up after I spoke and he apologized, and the director never spoke again. That's all I have to say.
One more question.
Okay, that's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to ask you about what is really special about the culture of Honduras that you offer to the outside whenever you have such a cultural exchange or cooperation.
What is it that we have?
Yeah, what do you offer actually? Because
We offer?
whenever there's something happening on a cultural exchange level, you have two cities, two cultures, and
Well-
do not ignore the power relations when, when you have like a project happening in a village in Honduras, they're coming from Germany, they say they want to build a school. What does Honduras offer? What is so special about your culture?
One, we're very good people, like all of you. Like all of you. Yeah. You know, before the eyes of God, we're all created equal. So I always believe in everybody that has a good side until they prove otherwise. And once they prove otherwise, then obviously I take actions, but not before. Honduras has a lot of things to offer. We are a region strategically located. We have many things to offer. Big economic opportunities, big political opportunities, big opportunities in every single sector that we have. The people are very open, very transparent, and so much transparency that we are fighting corruption head on. So much transparency that we are strengthening our educational programs, poverty reduction, economic programs, and security programs. By the way, security is like the topic, the in topic today. I'm not going to get into security because otherwise we're never going to get out of here. But indeed, Honduras has many things to offer. And the Honduran people are willing, are raw, ready, able, and willing to do anything to demonstrate the world that we are a very nice group of people who are ready for the world to come to Honduras. We cannot be excluded from a globalized world. And that is the reason why, through cultural exchange, cultural diplomacy, we can get closer together. I didn't answer one question. What is cultural diplomacy for me? I don't know who asked that. You did. Okay. Sorry. Okay. What is cultural diplomacy for me? Cultural diplomacy has many components on my book. And one of the most important ones is conflict resolution. If you're not willing to listen to the parties involved, and you're not willing to come to the middle in any negotiation, in any conversation, in any cultural exchange or conversation, then you won't have a bridge of cultural diplomacy. I can tell you that cultural diplomacy is to get cultures closer together through a bond of diplomacy. And I can tell you a lot of things, but I'm giving you one example as to where I like to start and where I like to focus. Because if you don't focus on conflict resolution, then I wouldn't have the brain smart enough to answer this guy in the south of Germany when he was really being very aggressive when I was there in good faith. So you have to learn how to deal with people. And for that you need psychology, creativity, and experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Your Excellency, on behalf of ICD, I would like to thank you firstly for our long-lasting partnership and cooperation. Thank you very much that you are always active, incredible active in cultural diplomacy in our partnership, and thank you very much again for coming and being today with us. Our pleasure to join me in a very sincere gratitude for His Excellency Ramón Custodio Espinoza.
Thank you. As a final note, I would like to express my most sincere gratitude, not only on my behalf, but on behalf of the people and government of Honduras, to the ICD, for the great support that you have done to all the embassies, not only the Embassy of Honduras. We have a very close partnership, and that partnership has been growing by leaps and bounds throughout the years, especially, I hope, between the year 2012 that I got here and the year 2017. Thank you.